Hi, this is Emma, and welcome to Esoteric Detective. Recently there has been a lot of discussion about the amount of seats in JFK's car. Since those with the Mandela effect, remember only 4 seats in the car when JFK was assassinated. Not the 6 seats that there are now. I have done a number of videos on this. But having found more information, I thought I would make a new video just about the number of seats. This is the car that history says today JFK was riding in on the day he was assassinated. That is a 6-seater car. Take a good look. Do you remember it this way? This is what history shows now. However, this is not how people with the Mandela effect remember the car. And also, it would seem, not how parts of documented history remember it as well. Let's take a few examples. A lot of this was compiled using the fine research of the Mandela Effect Proof blog. A link to this blog will be placed in the description. And I would like to thank the owner for their great research. So stay tuned, as Esoteric Detective investigates top 4 Mandela Effect proofs for a 4-seater car in the JFK assassination. Number 4. A number of historical museums and other places have replicas of JFK's car which show 4 seats, not 6. Let's look at the car at the Dahl Auto Museum. Please note the color of the wheels and the shape. You will see this repeated, at least within these 2 museum examples. Have a good look. Now have a look at the replica of the JFK car at the Museum of Historic Auto Attractions. Note that everything is the same as that in the other museum.
This is a display of President Kennedy and Jacqueline Kennedy, Mrs. Kennedy, riding along in Lincoln in Dallas back on November 22nd. This whole museum is just put together so well. It's really a beautiful place to come and relive a huge part of history.
Number 3. The United States Secret Service reenactment of the event shows a 4-seater car. This is from an agency with not only a high level of attention to detail, but a responsibility to record history as it happened, for investigative and judicial purposes. Let's take a look.
And it is believed this paper was used to wrap the gun. Agent Howlett is sitting in the position it is believed the assassin did, and he is pointing in the direction the rifle would have been pointed. Notice how low the window is to the floor. We look out of the window over the reconstructed position of the boxes for a few seconds before we remove the boxes to photograph the simulated motorcade. This is a simulated motorcade as it turns from Main onto Houston Street. The 2 motorcycle policemen are the 2 men who were in the same relative position to the president's car at the time of the assassination. They assisted in determining the approximate speed of the president's car during the filming of these scenes. As you will notice in this scene, the turn from Houston onto Elm Street is quite sharp. The 2 motorcycle policemen said the turn was so slow they had trouble keeping their balance. In a moment you can see the tree blocking the view of the car for a split second. The shot that struck the president's neck occurred shortly after the car comes into view from behind the tree, and the shot that struck his head when he was about 85 feet down the road. This view of the simulated motorcade is through a 4-power, 18mm Ordnance Optical Incorporated rifle scope, the same make and model scope that was used by the assassin. You can see the degree of amplification offered by the scope by looking at the people outside of the scope as well as the parked cars. It is impossible to show in a movie the scale dimensions of everything exactly as observed out of the window due to the various distances from projector to screen. However, these scenes viewed through the scope give you the same field of view as that the assassin saw through his scope. No attempt was made to keep the crosshairs of the scope on the exact points the shots entered the president.
Would the United States Secret Service be likely to reenact an event with the wrong number of people in the car? That is, this car has only 4 people and is missing 2 people. That is, it is a 4-seater car. However, to be fair, they did state in the film, which is 18 minutes long, that the car was smaller than the one used by JFK. So maybe they were using a mock car and not the stretched 6-seater limo? What do you guys think? Take a look at the full video and judge for yourself. But to those with the Mandela effect, they would often call something like this residue. That is, if the past is changing, it only changes some of it, not all of it. So fragments of the past are still left for people to catch. At least for now. Number 2. The Trial of Lee Harvey Oswald. A movie that came out in 1964. The movie shows clearly a 4-seater car. Let's take a look.
Floor sniper?
Yes. I fired 3 shots at a moving target between 100 and 300 feet away, at about a 40-degree angle downhill.
Did you hit the moving target?
Yes, with all 3 shots.
Was an accurate record made of the time that elapsed between your first and your third shot?
Yes, 6 2/10 seconds.
6.2 seconds. That means you fired the 3 shots in 6/10 seconds time less than is indicated by the film.
Objection! He's leading. This witness has no personal knowledge of these films.
Sustained. In your opinion as an expert rifleman, how good a marksman would the man who killed the president have to be?
He would have to have been better than average, but he needn't have been an expert. The distance was not great, assuming that he had a telescopic sight.
Objection!
Well, you could say that might have just been a mistake. Well, no. Because the second movie, also called The Trail of Lee Harvey Oswald, which was filmed in 1977, also shows a 4-seater car. Let's take a look.
Lee Harvey Oswald was killed before he could stand trial for the assassination of John F. Kennedy. In creating the following drama, certain names and events have been changed. While inferences are made at the trial, the testimony and the historical scenes of November 21st through November 24th, 1963, including the film of the assassination of John F. Kennedy, have a factual basis and were recreated for this motion picture at the actual locations where the events took place.
Prosecution is unwilling or reluctant or afraid to test its thesis.
That wasn't me. I didn't do that.
No, you didn't. He did.
Could a movie that probably cost millions of dollars not find a stretched limo with 6 seats in Hollywood? To film the event, they had to go instead with a 4-seater car. Not once, in one version of the movie, but twice. Number 1. Reenactments by other people. There are many reenactments that show only 4-seater cars, neglecting the other 2 people in the car. Let's take a look. How is it so many people have missed the other 2 people in the car? The 2 people that take 2 extra seats, which people with the Mandela effect never remembered, including the very Secret Service that protected JFK, at least in their own reenactment of the event, caught on old footage. What do you guys think? Don't you think this is all very strange? Or do you think this is just false memories, and we are all imagining a past that never happened? Stay tuned and subscribe to Esoteric Detective to keep up to date with the strange and unusual. And please give a thumbs up if you liked the video. And do let me know what you think in the comments section. Until next time.
Hello London, this is Leonard Parkin calling Radio Newsreel from Washington. President Kennedy and Governor John Colony of Texas were shot today from an ambush as President Kennedy's motorcade left the center of Dallas where the president was on a speaking tour. People screamed and lay down on the ground as shots were heard. An Associated Press photographer, it's reported, a man called Altkins, said he saw blood on the president's head. There was absolute pandemonium around the scene. Reporters saw President Kennedy lying flat on his face on the seat of his car. Men and women were screaming. This is all we have here in Washington at this moment, and for the moment I return you to Radio Newsreel in London.